Hydrofield cuts through my neighborhood.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Fearlessly Authentic. I am Lucky, your host, with...
Yo. What up, people?
With Steve.
Burritos.
All you baritonians. Oh, Lady Alex has a funny joke for us, but she's like, I have to wait for more people to show up.
Fair enough.
Miguel said, light, camera, action.
Action. Oh, yeah. Actionian.
How is everybody? Come, Schwari, Kate. I don't know why I said it that way.
Because it's fun to say it that way.
And Miguel, you deserve this. You deserve this.
Do you love margarine and polystyrene foam? Move over, Twinkie. This may outlast you in the apocalyptic times. You can rely on old meat butter for your end times. Meat butter. Not to be confused with ham. That comes in a can. The best hams don't come in a can, and you need a plan in the apocalyptic times. That's where meat butter shines. Try meat butter from the makers of Spam. Your dog will thank you. Or will they?
Meat butter. Meat butter is not for human consumption or animal consumption. Please do not, by any means, feed meat butter to anyone you know or ever will know. Meat butter is very harmful, toxic, and will cause death. Not responsible.
That was for you, Miguel. Peaches is having a fit. Like an absolute fit today. Light, camera, and mushrooms. It's my yes. It is a classic, and it has been fact-checked. Oh. Uh-oh. I think Steve is bringing peaches. The bird?
Okay.
So we have some interesting stories for everybody tonight. Yeah, with the meat water chaser. Yes, that gross meat water. Is the meat water one on here? Oh, yep. Oh, that's just the picture of it.
Yeah, you have to play the audio.
What do you mean?
The audio.
Oh, you put the image up with it?
Oh, I did. I'm right. I didn't. I don't know where the hell it is.
I think it's on your YouTube.
Leo.
Hi, Kelly.
Leo.
Oh, so we just got done doing Drew's show a little bit ago. That was a really awesome show. Everyone should check it out. Even if you aren't dealing with epilepsy yourself, I always learn something with the show. I always learn, more about what I'm doing. It makes me self-examine more, what I'm doing for my own diet and all of that. So it's really good. Oh my gosh. My hair has gotten so long. It's such a pain to tie up. There you go. There we go. Much better. Such valuable information. Sorry. Steve, say hi to the people.
Hey, people, how's it going? Sorry, I was just slurping down some more salmon. It was delicious. I cannot lie.
We had salmon for dinner.
Oh, it's so good. Leo liked it. I gave him the pan to clean up. He's like, oh, yeah. Well, he cleaned up most of it. What are you doing now? Oh, you're getting potato bits from the bird. Okay.
Kim said just to ask to have Peaches fix my hair.
Yeah. Peaches is taking appointments now. If you call early enough in the day, he will do all your feathers finer than a peacock. Peacockatoo?
Steve, why am I hearing my voice?
It's getting echoey in here, man. You didn't even eat that Matrix bar yet.
We didn't.
Why is that?
We didn't.
That
because
like a delicious dessert.
We're not doing that right now.
All right.
No, we want a Matrix bar. I want another Matrix bar.
I think these contests are fixed. I never win nothing.
I know, it's funny. Well, hello, my name is Lucky.
Well, that was my first clue, but I didn't know that it worked that way on contests too.
The bird is acting crazy. I hope he's going to behave himself. He has water. Yes. Mouse. Wait, Alex, what is happening here? Is this part of your joke? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree, Kate.
Where is Little? He's late. She's late. They're late. I don't know anybody's sexes. I don't know anybody's fucking
Miguel,
gender.
Gamer, Drew.
Well, some people I know their gender, but most people I don't know if they just have an innocuous name like Little. I don't know.
Little says, I just got here. You were being paid.
Right on time.
This is why we give a little bit of like a warm up and let you guys kind of like come in and hang out.
Kosher, she said. So that's good.
Little said, I'm a boy.
All right. I will make a mental note of that. Or just a regular note.
Yeah, the joke doctor. That's exactly who Little is. Miguel said that Little is a unicorn.
I'm willing to believe that.
So how's everybody doing? Let's do a check-in. How is everybody?
Sadites.
It is pouring rain here. So my back is in like, you know, it's purest of awful form. Oh, Lil says that he's a guilty unicorn. Yeah. Oh, Kim said in Jersey City, it's pouring there too. We are in the tri-state. Jersey, New York, and Connecticut. We are tri-state area.
Like, hey, how you doing? No.
Ooh, Kate's about to go into a mineral salt bath. That sounds lovely.
Delicious.
I want a mineral salt bath. And Drew's telling Little that he's part of the unicorn. Ooh, excuse me. That was a hiccup. Unicorn posse. Oh my gosh. So when I get hiccups, you know who also gets hiccups? Peaches gets hiccups. He likes to mimic my hiccups.
Yes, every place is a tri-state area if you have 2 other states next to you.
But I mean, they call us the tri-state area. Like that's like a thing. I don't know.
Yeah, they do that all over the place. Because there's 3 states together. So you're in the quad state, and there's 4 of them. You could live in, 4 colonies.
Connecticut just needs to be like lumped in with New Jersey and New York so that we're bigger.
What's the 3rd state?
Because it could be Massachusetts and Rhode Island and Connecticut. We could be a tri-state that way,
And
but
we
we're
are.
not.
And we are. Yes, we are.
Yeah, but like when they say tri-state area, they usually mean New York, New Jersey.
Yeah, but no,
Connecticut.
it's like I think it should be any state you like. Like I would like
He's making up his own rules.
Hawaii, New Mexico, and Rhode Island.
They're a tri-state.
It was a tri-state. Covers a lot of area. You
Well,
won't get lost if there's only 3 states between here and there. You'll always know what state you're in. They should just let me rename them.
Oh, Bonkers likes the salmon drippings. Look at. He likes it.
All right.
I bet you they would like some of the salmon.
Gore's got some fucking Cadillac brand Wi-Fi going on. It's got that Wi-Fi hitter from the places where the Wi-Fi.
Oh, we love you, Lala.
Hell yeah.
Oh, Angela, yes, I know. We love that you come and hang out, though.
Hell yeah.
I know you got to get up early.
We dig you people.
We do. We really do. We really, really love you guys.
Yeah.
You have to get up early for what?
My manager, she was joking, but she said, "Hey, want to come help me with the truck at 6 in the morning?" I was like, "Oh, I don't think Steve would want to wake up that early." She's like, "Oh, I'll pick you up then." I was like, "Okay."
So you're getting up at 6 to go do the truck?
Yeah, and then I'm getting up at 10 to go get her.
She said I can leave at 10 if I go help her with the truck. I wasn't even scheduled, but I'll help.
Bonus.
Hey, 4 extra hours. That's good.
Get that money, girl. Stack that paper.
All right.
I
So
just want a job where they pay me in weed.
now Leo has reverse sneezes, and
So I never run out.
this is what happens.
Bonkers is eating the fish drippings now. He's like, oh, Leo, you're after the lemony, yummy good stuff. That's so cute. It's because there's butter. He's like, oh, butter.
All right. So there's like this. Have you guys heard about these peaches? Really? I wasn't talking to you. No, I wasn't. Have you guys heard about these crazy protests that are happening everywhere? You have peaches?
Everywhere. Mostly just in China.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Or at least that's purportedly where they are happening.
That's what's being reported.
That is what every single mainstream media outlet is currently reporting on. That makes me feel uneasy immediately. Even if it's true. It's so weird. It's like everybody's screaming, China and COVID, and now freaking out again. And oh, really? Because CNN said, do we know anybody on the ground in China? Verify this shit. Yeah, they're saying it's in a few different cities, not just Beijing or.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's happening all over the place. And it's, as per usual, we're skeptical about anything like this that we're seeing because we can't We can't verify it. And then we're like, what's happening? Like, what? Like, mainstream media is actually covering this?
Yeah, it just seems it's
That's just like, that's not, they don't normally cover this unless there's a narrative.
well, the
around.
narrative is that bad Chinese government, right?
The Chinese Communist Party.
The Communist Party is incredibly fucking evil and insidious and trying to kill us all at all times. So we have to monitor this closely, right?
So
Or
is it like a
is it-
thing against communism? Like, because
It's always against communism. Is it just
is that what their angle is though?
I don't know. It's like there's so many possibilities, and the actual possibility that people are freaking out in China because they're fucking incredibly fucking militant about their lockdown stuff. So I don't know. It's hard to say.
It's really hard to tell like what's really happening. So I have another video here I'm going to show you guys where it says that people are tearing down the barricades in Wuhan. Anti-lockdown protests are spreading to more and more cities in China. So this is what is being. Oops, I need
It's
to
certainly
add
a
it.
narrative thing that they're trying to manifest. Like, I'm all for letting China do whatever the fuck China wants to do. That's their fucking, those are their people. If they're gonna fucking, abuse them like our government does to us, then whatever, they fucking, that's that's the way it is. We're not gonna stop that. So I like to see them work it out and people not be welded into their homes and stuff like we've seen in videos. It's freaky.
Okay, so douchebag is trending right now.
Don't be a
In the
douchebag,
United
bitches.
States, douchebag is trending on Twitter. That's great. So, yeah, we're seeing this is happening. There's all this footage of people like fighting back and against it, and we're not against the people standing up. And it could be for the reasons that they're saying. It very well could be that that's the reason why people are doing it. We're just trying to look at it and go, is this a narrative spin? What are we really looking at? Like, is anybody on the ground there? Can we
There are people on the
verify
ground.
this?
There are people on the ground, but I have no idea if they're like, journalists and like not bad actors put in place there. So it's really hard to undo what you're seeing. Like, you know what I mean? Is it just about us trying to portray our country as stronger than China because we don't have this happening? Or is it just China is the test bed where they fucking means test every fucking thing? So they're just seeing, what could happen if we decide to lock them down again. Let's see how this bigger budgeted fucking police force handles these civilians. You know what I mean? Like our government, our Congress just gave law enforcement fucking billions of dollars, man. Like every year they're doing this. So like, what the fuck, man? Hundreds of millions of dollars go to Ukraine every day, right? Virtually to fuel some fucking bullshit, some distraction thing, and people die constantly. But over here, look at this China thing. Don't look at the Ukraine thing and the FTX. That's nothing. You're not making any sense there. That doesn't make any sense. Why would you look at China? China's COVID, hello, trigger word. Everybody fucking react to this video. Never mind talking about Nazis and fucking Bitcoin,
Yeah, it just seems it doesn't add up because they don't. When do they show these things? They want to they show them either as a distraction, as a narrative control. Like typically the people of those countries are more subservient. And they go along and they do what they're more so what they're told. That is just, that is something that happens. So, I mean, it took this long. So it could be organic that it's happening, but it also might not be. Because I've seen videos where it doesn't look like it was organic, that there was infiltrators in there doing this stuff. So it's really hard to tell like where the truth is in the video. And then like what mainstream media is telling us too is something, you know what I mean? Like it's completely, let me see. I don't know why all the things that I sent over didn't show up. So let me see. I'm gonna look for something like, mainstream.
Miguel knows what he's looking at with the signs. He said that, I read some comments among Chinese people talking about some protest signs have characters that would be difficult to write by a Chinese person, like QI or QL is a foreign sign to them. And these protesters are carrying signs with varying things on them that may or may not be, what we think they are. So that's like, I think it's worth further inspection, even if it's completely factual. You know what I mean? Just to understand fully what the hell is happening.
Yeah, I have a mainstream clip of these that are happening, and we're not coming and pretending like we have the answers, and we can definitely say
I think first is because of the Xi Jinping, the president. We should end his dictatorship because he only care about he only care about himself, his dictatorship. So this is why many people died of him.
so. That's like what the mainstream telegraph is wants everybody to understand. And then I've gotten, I've heard from other videos of other people's analysis of this. Just I can't verify any of it, but they were saying that that the Chinese people there are not. It's not necessarily that they don't have, it's the way that it's being framed isn't what it actually is, and that the people there want a change and they want their government to represent them as who they are as a country, and they're not currently doing that with this. And it's more so that, and it's not just like we need him to step down, we need Xi Jinping to step down, we need this, we want a whole nother government or a revolution, that it's being framed in a way where it's actually the people are like, no, you need to represent us again. And like, but it could be part of the Great Reset agenda. It's really hard to dismantle this. And it's really hard to look at this and understand what's happening on the other side of the world when there's a language barrier. And with all the censorship that we have, I mean, the amount of censorship that they have there is even far greater than what we have here. But they use that to make it like, oh, well, we don't have as much censorship. Like that doesn't make it better. Like the censorship is not okay. It doesn't matter what level it's on. None of it is okay. We shouldn't have censorship. So are they ramping this up to make the people in the United States and in other countries think, well, at least, they have that mentality. Well, at least it's not as bad as over there. It's not as bad, like as if it somehow makes it better. And it creates a false narrative.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, a whole 2,000 people. The people have spoken. It's like 2,000 people. That's like a small theater. People.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not diminishing what they're standing up for or anything like that. It's just you have to really examine the narrative behind it, who benefits from it. Where does the truth really lie with this? And we might not know. We might not ever know where the truth really lies with it. So,
like, I personally don't support lockdowns at any point, anytime, ever. But also, I don't live in China, so yeah, I would have to agree with that.
This is weird. It's not letting me open the links that I sent you.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let me see if I can find them this way. That's so weird. Why? Okay, they're showing up on my end, but they're not showing up over here for you.
Oh, refresh it. See if it comes back.
Well, that's weird.
I don't know.
All right. Let me see. Yeah, they're showing up over here. All the links that I had.
Everybody hit that like button. That is it.
Sorry.
Good point. Yes, Adams.
Let me see. I'm just going to search for them over here this way maybe and see if I can get them to come up because they're not even all here. Everything that I sent isn't even all here.
The E1.
I don't know. I don't know.
Engage E1 filter.
I don't know what's happening.
I don't know.
So, everybody should know that there's the World Cup happening right now.
FIFA.
I'm going to try to find my...
A few friends that were well into the FIFA thing. But not so much anymore.
This is the same article that I had before. This is weird. So people were really upset because they weren't able to have the rainbow flags at the World Cup. And people were saying they were being rejected, like entrance.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Oh, this is going to drive me crazy. I don't know how to send this. Can I send it to computer? Will it show up? Where does it show? It beeped.
What are you trying to do?
I sent the article.
Okay, so it's right there, but you have to. There you go.
Oh, there it is. Yay. Okay. Let me bring this up for you guys. So, FIFA tells Wales fans they can wear rainbow hats in the stadiums. So, people were being declined entrance into the World Cup by certain people because they were wearing rainbow attire.
Like a t-shirt.
Yeah, like a rainbow t-shirt with a soccer ball on it. Like, and people were like they're like, no, you can't do this. So they tell the Wales fans they can wear rainbow hats in the stadium. And this came out after. This is from November 24th, 2022. This is from the Associated Press. So in Qatar, the Welsh Soccer Federation, FIFA, has offered assurances that fans wearing rainbow symbols will be allowed at Friday's World Cup game against Iran. The federation had asked FIFA for clarity on reports some Wales fans were stopped from taking rainbow bucket hats and flags into the team's World Cup opener against the United States on Monday. So they have confirmed that the fans with the rainbow wall bucket hats and rainbow flags will be allowed to enter the stadium. So Rainbow Wall is in Wales, and it's an LGBT supporters group. So the federation added that all World Cup venues will be contacted and instructed to follow the agreed rules and regulations, because there were certain people denying entrance to certain people. This wasn't happening all around everywhere. So they confirmed that they've been in contact with them, and they reiterated the long-standing guarantees from the Qatar authorities that LGBT symbols will be allowed into the 8 World Cup stadiums. However, the governing body has no authority. Here we go. This is the part. They always put it at the very end. They have no authority over the stadium security, which is controlled by the local organizing committee. So rainbow imagery, a symbol of LGBT rights, is frowned upon in a country where same-sex relations are criminalized. In April, a senior Qatar security official overseeing tournament preparation suggested fans carrying rainbow flags could have them removed to protect them from possible attacks. So I wanted to see what you guys really thought of this, because I could understand that they wouldn't want to have, certain symbology there if it's offensive to the country, but people should have the freedom to also wear what they want. So what do you guys think of this? What is your opinion on this issue? Because I've seen some people that were like, oh, well, they shouldn't wear the rainbow stuff and they should be respectful of the people of that country. And other people think that they should have the freedom of expression and be able to wear what they want. Steve?
I was just thinking about rainbow colored baklava. I don't know. I think they should, the people that put on these events should already have a pretty good idea of what is socially acceptable in these places, right? And what is the tradition of the places? And if that conflicts with it so much that people are going to be ejected for wearing a fucking t-shirt, I mean,
But it wasn't everybody.
No, it wasn't.
It was certain security that was rejecting people.
Right. It just sounds
was
like
selective.
Yeah, it sounds like just dickhead security guards picking on people that they thought were, available to be picking on. You know what I mean? Because they happen to be wearing a rainbow colored fucking soccer t-shirt, and somehow that and they're homophobic or whatever. I don't know. It's fucking stupid. But ultimately, if your tradition is to be intolerant of some person because of their sex, why do you even want to fucking do anything in their fucking town?
Why do you want to go to their country? Because the World Cup is there.
Well, I understand that the World Cup is there, but what I'm saying is if they make it such a big deal that people, that some sex or how they view their fucking sexuality is such an imposing thing for a country as a whole, and they have some kind of steadfast fucking rule of intolerance against that, I guess you have to adhere to that rule and thereby exclude them from the competition. I'm not fucking going there because of that. You know what I mean? Like, that just seems like a non-thing. Like, really, you're so stupid that you're gonna, single out people with rainbows on their t-shirts? And like, it's such a moral, fucking unforgivable thing that you can't forgive the person because they're different than you, and you have to exclude them and be intolerant of them.
What's wrong with rainbows? I mean, besides rainbows symbolize more than just that.
Yeah, I thought it was about colors. They were different colors, man.
It's colors. I mean, like, I grew up with like in the 80s, like everything was a rainbow.
I'm pretty sure Little just said I was a DMT elf that only appears when you're stoned. I can't confirm or deny that.
So Gore said if you're hosting a world event, should probably have more leniency. Yeah. If it's a world event.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. If there's so societal norms that are known the world over, and if your place that you're trying to host this event in isn't okay with that and isn't willing to evolve to the position where it is okay, then why do you want to include them in that anyway?
And then Oz has a good point too. When in Rome and all that, who am I to inflict my culture on my host's culture? Sounds pretty damn rude to me. Mm-hmm. So it can go either way.
I agree. That's what I mean. Like, if there already is a thing established where that there's an unacceptable thing that they're not going to accept, and it's going to be widely fucking disparaged, and people are going to be upset and get saying to their vaginas over it, then I'm not going to impose my will on somebody. This is the way you guys have done it for 1,000 years. Okay, well, you're not ready to change that position and evolve. Okay, I don't want to I'm not trying to change them, but I also don't want to be inclusive in that regard. Like, I'll just opt out of that because, you know what I mean? It just seems like a fucking no-brainer at this point.
I mean, is it set ahead of time? Are they selling these shirts outside of, the stadium, and they're really offensive to people? Yeah. Again, you're exactly right there, Lala. She said, okay, we can't both talk. I mean, it seems like the situation got blown out of proportion and the news grabbed a hold of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
as they will.
They are always manipulating it. And they're gonna make people be completely against a country.
Shores up polarization against people, that's what it does.
It causes more division. As always. It's always the same thing. It's the same rule book. So we should recognize this right away. We should recognize that this is a divisive thing, but where can we find the common ground in this? I mean, was it presented ahead of time? Did they not think that people would show up with these rainbow shirts and rainbow gear and rainbow flags?
Right. They're a part of the soccer scene, right? They're part of the FIFA. Like that's a thing, even though they support gay rights or whatever the fucking rainbow is supposed to signify. It's so irrelevant. It's so like, what the fuck, man? Get over yourself.
So Miguel said they're probably lenient to a certain extent, but the lines that there shouldn't be crossed.
Some places object to swastikas, but that's it. That was a perfectly reasonable symbol before there were Nazis.
Before it was used in that way. Now, if you're going to cause all this division and polarization against a certain person or people, then you're giving that symbol of the fucking soccer t-shirt with the rainbow on it all this power that it really doesn't innately have. It doesn't have any power at all. But the image and the icon, starts to personify those assholes that were standing at the gate, giving these people a hard time not letting them in. Yeah.
And it just manifests bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's sensationalized in the news, and that's what they do, and that's how they.
And it wasn't everybody. It wasn't everybody, and it was the security that works privately. So, sometimes the information isn't, like their personal beliefs. It wasn't everybody in that stadium. So like they kind of lumped it together like it was. And then Miguel said that tourists are the temporary, they don't live there. Yeah. Yes. And they're also bringing revenue and bringing business to that town. Mm-hmm. So it's like, how much adaptability, are you going to accept these people's money? Because if you're going to accept their money, I think there needs to be a little bit of give on both sides of it.
Yeah, it needs to be balanced. Speaking of balance, Jilly Nimmet mentions the new WEF logos are rainbow and swastika. Not even kidding.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, not kidding. Oh, Klaus, you rascal. You rapscallion.
We'll be getting to some Nazis later.
Jeez. Can't get away from them. It's like they've somehow burrowed into our very existence.
Exactly. So Lala said, I agree with Miguel. Sometimes you just got to go with the flow. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily purposefully wear something that I know might upset the people of a certain culture and of a certain town. I wouldn't purposefully do that, but I mean, people might not have even thought of it, because if they're not used to somewhere else's culture and that is not okay, I mean, they should be informed, if you're going somewhere else. But if they're, are they doing it because they're trying to undermine the country or anything else? Does it really cause harm? I mean, you have to kind of
Yeah, I totally get Oz was just saying, if you he said, I get your point, Steve, but we risk arguing the great white burden to impose our culture over others for the greater good. And that road is, road to hell is paved with fucking all kind of shit. But the fact,
also, how do we grow? Because it wasn't always that acceptable here either.
Right. My point is this. I'm not trying to impose what I think on the thing at all, other than the fact that I may choose to not be a part of it. That's all. That's my prerogative, and it works for me. I feel okay with that decision making. I'm not trying to, put everybody in that same position and impose my opinion.
We're not making them wear the rainbows either.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get anybody to change their culture to accept gay people or whatever if they're just so adamant about that, and and you know what I mean? I think any culture that embraces intolerance is pretty fucking dumb. So whatever, there's always room for improvement in every culture, but I'm not trying to be the guy to say, hey, you need to fix this. I'm just going to be the guy that says, well, I probably won't go to that. You know what I mean? To me, it's like, you want to go see the Red Sox today? Nah. You know,
it's not going to make
it's
people
irrelevant.
less gay that are there.
Right. It's not going to change anything. The guy with the fucking rainbow t-shirt still got kicked out, and the next guy with the rainbow t-shirt didn't. So, you know, super.
And
I hope people can be happy in what they're doing. And I hope that when they do these world events, people can coexist in different cultures, and cultures that get things fucking fundamentally fucking weird can evolve. You know, that's the best possible thing. I want the best for everybody involved in it. I don't want to just like impede my position on everyone.
I mean, we're not asking them to change their laws, right? We're not like we are not imposing something onto them.
And I want to answer Miguel, because he's like, just because we don't understand their culture doesn't mean it's wrong. But I think certain fundamental things about a culture, even if you fail to like, I have a hard time understanding how anybody could hate someone just because they're in love with the same sex. You know, that just seems preposterous to me on every level, at a molecular level. You know what I mean? So like, whatever. If that makes me naive and you know, and short-sighted, then I guess I'm just afflicted with that, you know, like most people are about most things. So I figure some of the things that I have figured out pretty good are you know, that's good. I'm batting about, you know, 320, which is like, speaking of Red Sox, like Carl Yastrzemski era stuff. You know what I mean? We're not fucking around here. We're trying to get it right. And I definitely don't want to change anybody's culture.
Yeah, that's why we're having this conversation.
Anybody's culture doesn't want to change themselves.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And that's why we're having this conversation, is because we wanted to see kind of, you know, where do we lie with this? I mean, like there isn't like necessarily a straightforward answer to it. Like Lala's saying here, I had friends who were Korean. They weren't allowed to walk in with shoes on, so I didn't wear shoes. And that is respecting somebody. Yeah. Now, were these people's intention to be disrespectful? Did they, you know, if it wasn't something, you know, ahead of time, like it's pretty well known that like if you go somewhere with, you know, a swastika on in a symbology of something that represents something, like that symbol itself isn't going to harm anybody, right? The rainbow on the shirt isn't going to harm anybody. If you wore shoes in the house, it wouldn't necessarily harm anybody. But when you're talking about a very public world event compared to someone's house and respecting that person's house or their living environment, it's very different. So I'm not really, I can kind of see both sides of it. Like I would more be on the side of, I would err on the side of being respectful and not like intentionally doing that. But maybe these people didn't do it intentionally, maybe because it wasn't, you know, the World Cup themselves. They said, you know, they weren't against it.
Yeah, maybe the guy wearing the t-shirt was a dick. You know, and he's like, fuck you, I'm gay, fuck you, you know, like he could have just been an asshole.
Yeah, we don't know.
The possibility of one or both of those people interacting at that juncture being assholes is really, really high.
Yeah, like we don't know if there was house rules ahead of time or anything like that. They don't even examine this in this AP article. They don't even question that. They don't even like say anything further into it. They don't ask any of these questions that we're asking and that we're asking everybody's opinion on.
And that just seems to signify the fact that it's done for...
It's a narrative control.
It's narrative control. And it's also that sensationalized thing to draw division to happen. You know, because if you start asking those questions, then you're going to get into an argument with your friend about whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? like we, you know, Oz is like pushing back, like, no, you know, if you just dismiss these people out of hand because you don't understand why they've achieved, you know, they've come to this point in their civilization, their culture, right? Then you run the risk of trying to impose your fucking will on these people and being the great white douchebag, like has been the fucking way, you know, for hundreds of years. So I agree with both
But
aspects.
people pushing the envelope is how change
Yes.
does happen.
It's a double-edged sword. Absolutely. Because it sparks conversation, it can, potentially be a good thing. But I really get the feeling that, the MSM media that grabs a hold of a story like this does not intend to spark, cordial discourse on the matter.
No, you would never see this kind of discourse or conversation in any kind of mainstream, or most, you know what I mean? Most aren't asking what the viewer, what your opinion is of it.
Right. Just stating some facts, some incendiary knowledge.
People will tell you the fact and tell you what it is and expect you to take their opinion and walk with it or whatever, but we really want to know what you guys feel and how you feel about this, because we are a community and that's what this is about for us.
I want to know what the people are thinking about this, and it brings it right back to the whole thing with the Chinese. Like, are they really doing these things? Is this a real narrative that we're watching unfold, or why are they why do they do this? And it seems like it's more and more and more. It's just like the easiest, most incendiary thing that they can come up with is what they lead with every time.
I mean, at the same time, should somebody, if you're gay, you shouldn't go to that country if it is against the law there?
Oh yeah, that's what they're saying. Don't go to Iran because it's against the law. Which, come to find out, like Jilly said in the chat, it's been talked about with actual people in Iran, and they don't seem to give a fuck about trans rights and stuff. It's not a big deal. So that's the opposite of the religious establishment that we see, that's presented to us as a bunch of crazy old fucking, crazy old bearded dudes, that want women to wear a hijab and give them no rights. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, man. I don't believe any of their narratives anymore. I'm a cynical fuck. Call me crazy.
Well, I mean,
you won't be the first one.
Miguel said, yes, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
That's right. That becomes clearer and clearer to me. There are probably no truer cliches than that one.
I mean, and there's so much of this that is missing. In my opinion, it's missing. What's missing in it is the context of, was this outlined beforehand? Where are these people? You know what I mean? Like, did these people know that this might be offensive? There's context that's missing that they don't give you. So Jilly said that Galloway didn't bring up the China protest. Makes me think they're legit. He's pro-China. Maybe. Well, I mean,
quite possible.
I think that there could be, with the Chinese protests too, there could be a reason that we don't understand why they're really there saying what they're saying and what the people actually want the outcome to be. Right? Because yes, the protests can be absolutely real. It can be against the government. It might be because they want the government to improve. They want the government to do, but that gets lost. That context of that gets lost. And I'm sure that all of those people that are in the streets aren't there for the same reason. Like, not everybody's gonna have the same exact viewpoint and the same exact logic and reasoning.
No, you'll most likely have two different groups of people on the street there fighting with the police, because that's how it usually goes. At least two.
And then people, a lot of times, they're more likely to join something than start something. Mm-hmm. In general, I know this is just an observation that I have of people
instead of joining.
Yeah, they're follower. Most people are followers. It takes, people to actually to gather the people to stand out against the crowd. It's not always the easiest place to be, to be ahead of something, to say things that aren't popular, that isn't a common opinion. And some of those things are out there off the wall, and people they're definitely, there's people that will say things that are completely against and most of society. And yeah, I agree that that's wrong. But then there's some people that the other part of that minority that are saying things that I wish everyone else would catch on to. So
That's the other aspect, little right there. The fact is that whenever you have someone gathering the people to face down oppression or opposition in some way, 9 times out of 10, at least in this country, it gets co-opted like immediately. You know what I mean? It'll go along for a month or two and it'll build up some steam. And then just when it's getting some momentum, some, fucking bad actors will blow in there and either make it disintegrate or build it up even bigger and start incorporating money from fucking nefarious places and stuff. You know what I mean? Like that happens with every single like civic minded fucking group of people that got together. Like ultimately anybody I've ever known that has been like active in doing actions and direct actions and things like that are jaded as fuck because they've been doing the same things over and over, repeatedly, getting the same results, getting somewhere, feeling great about the momentum and the crowd swell and the thing, and then it takes a fucking left turn that you never saw coming because somebody else is driving the bus now. And like it just seems inevitable. It's like this constant same cycle see with people voting. It's the same exact thing. You just doing, you keep getting the bad results. You keep doing the thing, keep bad results. Oh, I was addicted to heroin for like 20 fucking years. Cause why? Cause I kept doing heroin. Cause I kept doing the dumb thing. Oh, but it's insanity. People don't realize that if we keep doing the same thing over and over and not ever fucking evolving, we'll never evolve. We'll devolve. And that's what's happening. We're devolving. That's what I think.
and then on the
I'm just a disembodied voice. Don't listen to me.
and then on the other side of it, there was another I figured out how to send them over to the computer and they open it right
Am
up
I
for me.
pixelating my send? I don't know. I don't even know if that's possible. Snork said I was pixelating my sound. I don't know how that's possible, but okay.
Oh.
Was it getting funky?
Yeah, and Vicky, exactly right. Don't cross your legs and show the bottom of your shoe too. They're in their hand gestures, like flipping someone the bird in the United States and other countries isn't necessarily going to be the same thing as somewhere else.
Jordan Sheridan's a bully. Yeah. I had
Who
a
said
really,
that?
Gamer did. I had a really funny conversation with somebody about that today. Like, because I reacted to somebody like talking about Jimmy Dore and how
All right, well, don't go too
whatever.
far off.
I don't remember exactly what they said about Jimmy Dore, but the person just assumed that I was like a Jimmy Dore freak or something.
Like a Jimmy Dore, like die hard.
I was a simp
fan
for Jimmy, and I'm like, no, dude. I think Jordan Sheridan is a fucking phony baloney, and he has been disingenuous about a bunch of things, and he just does like poor people porn for the lowest bidder. And the person wrote back, no, what's his name? Who's the big giant guy on fucking YouTube? Mr. something. I can't remember. He's the guy. He does poor people porn, I was told. So I'm like, okay, well, they both suck. I've been kicked out of Status Quo's chat like 7 or 8 times just for asking question. You ask a question that conflicts with their narrative, and they're like,
yeah, I haven't been over there in a long time.
Somebody starts to like, have a pulmonary embolism or something. I don't know what happens. There's some kind of breakdown that occurs, and immediately they hit the button that makes you eject from the thing.
Yeah, little. I think that is definitely happening. He said, unfortunately, a lot of the LGBT community seems rather blind to their movement getting hijacked and weaponized. Not their fault, but they need to talk about it. That's absolutely happening. And on Thursday, we're going to have a great show. I don't know if you guys heard, but I'm having Emma Dowd on, and she is intersex and was raised as a male and didn't find out that she because she I say she because she goes by she now, didn't realize that she was until she was in her high school. So we're going to talk about that and talk about some LGBTQ stuff and all of that. And I think that absolutely, you know, people want to have that sense of community. They, you know, people want to have the sense of community and togetherness. And so I think a lot of people overlook that they're being used, and most people that are LGBTQ, that doesn't mean that they're necessarily paying attention to everything that's being said or everything that's happening. They're going about, a lot of them are going about their lives. And not everybody is involved with everything. And you know, I believe that they do need to have a bigger conversations need to happen. We need to be all having more communication, more conversations, and having nuanced conversations about things and really examining it and not just taking anything for its value, depending on where the source is and where it's coming from. Oswhistle said, I got to warn you that in my tribe, there are folks who will attack you if you have a duck on your head. Oh, it might be a good idea for you to take it off. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I remember that, Snork. We talked about that when we did the episode about water. He said, Snork said, I told Sheridan that he was giving misinformation on the Michigan water. He was showing a different problem that will not solve the lead problem. He still kept pushing that it was lead. Lead isn't visible. So he was like showing brown water, basically, that was supposedly, you know, the cause of the lead or whatever. But
they're misinforming, and he's gaslighting people by his reporting, by not properly reporting that lead is clear. So if your water is not coming out brown, you might think, oh no, I don't have lead in my water, or it's fine. But that's not the case. And we covered this with Snork. We should grab that episode and put that link in here, because everybody should be checking their water. Everybody should check that episode out because it's really important. It's one of the ones that I share a lot, and it dismantles Jordan Sheridan's entire narrative of what's happening in Flint.
Yeah, he just gaslighted the fuck out of people, got a paycheck, and now he just says, you know, help status quo stay alive and give us money. Like, I mean, everybody needs a little bit of money to stay afloat, certainly. But I mean, if your entire broadcast is, you know, give us money, every fucking other word he says, man, no lie. And when you point it out, they eject you immediately. Like it's just nonsense. It's a terrible loop to be in too, if you believe that his rhetoric and stuff, you know what I mean? If you're fucking bought in on it, then it's really hard to escape it. It's a weird cult that's going on. And every I think that happens like with content creators. Like it just happens. People just fucking like want to take people's word as being truth. We try to encourage everybody to fucking think for themselves, to please.
Yeah, don't take my opinion.
Yourself.
Don't
follow
take my
links.
opinion and replace it with yours.
If we put links for information, follow the links. Do your own reading. You know what I mean? That's ultimately the thing that we try to do, is just like, here's a fucking thing we found. Check it out. You know, don't take our word for it ever. And people like Jordan Sheridan and others that I could name, but I won't.
Yeah, let's not.
Absolutely do that thing where they're just like, this is fact.
Yep. People put things out as fact, and they expect you to take that opinion and not question it. And don't you dare question them at all. But we invite that. We invite people to ask questions because that's healthy. It is healthy. The truth does not hide. Yeah, the truth likes questions.
The truth likes to be questioned. The truth wants to fucking be articulated to every nuance is understood perfectly. That's what truth is, right? Honesty, articulation, using honesty as the vehicle, you know, and facts. And people fucking like seem to just think that if you have you know, 1 million followers, then you must know what you're talking about. So I'm gonna just listen to whatever you say, just like turning on the television and listening to Tom Brokaw on the fucking nightly news. You know, it's garbage. You got to go deeper. And if you don't go deeper, that's your prerogative too, man. I'm not gonna shit on you if you want to be oblivious. So fucking be oblivious, whatever. But the fact is that there's a lot going on that you are oblivious to. And no matter how much research you do and how many adjustments you make to try to fucking, you know, do something that you think is going to help stuff, there are only like direct things, direct actions that you can do and really make a difference. And there are only, you know, like, I don't know, you can't expect just because of sheer numbers that people are going to, that you're going to be an honest person on the end of that. You know what I mean? That you just can't say, oh, well, you know, they have 15 million people, you know, and they follow him, and, you know, he's right about this last thing. Well, okay, let's take, you know, let's take Chris Hedges, for instance, who is a fucking brilliant dude, right? Written many brilliant books, exposed so many things about so many people that other people would have no about. Again, because he put his head down and looked, he found out, you know what I mean? He did his own research, and that's why he was so brilliant. But even him, he got some shit wrong. Noam Chomsky, he thought mandates were a good idea. You know what I mean? Like, there people make mistakes as you go and get things wrong, and that's okay. But what I'm saying is, like, if you keep researching and you keep finding out answers to things, to the questions that you're asking, then if you find out the things at least as much as you can about any one given subject, then you can be pretty sure about it, right? But you still can't entirely be, that's a fact. You take that to the bank, and, you know, all that bravado and all of that stuff that goes along with getting things right sometimes. I don't know, people just like idolize that, and it's fucking creepy. It's wicked cult-like, and I don't think most people even comprehend it or are aware of it on any level. They're completely being psychologically manipulated by, you know, every aspect of their life, first of all, and then they like go watch this one person to get all their information, and that's stops right there. That's as far as you're going, is just one guy said. So now you can go to work and say that to your boss, and you can say that to your coworker and spread this other thing that may or may not be true. You know, the guy got 8 things out of 10 right, but, you know, this one might not be right, but it probably is. So fuck it. I'm not going to find out for myself.
So I wanted to show this other thing about Qatar that I found, which I thought was interesting also.
Yep.
Now, this goes along with the same thing. So English fans were in Qatar were banned from dressing up as St. George for World Cup, the match against the USA, because the Crusader outfits is offensive to Muslims.
Right.
Now, this is a different reason than the rainbow stuff, than the LGBTQ, right? So England supporters dressed as Crusaders have run into trouble at the World Cup. Fans have allegedly been refused entry to games over their costume. It's reported that similar rules will be enforced at tonight's match against the USA. Anti-racism groups say night-themed clothes can be offensive to Muslims. And this is from November 24th, 2022. And this is in the Daily Mail. So they don't want them. I mean, can anybody tell me why people would think that dressing up as the Crusaders and going to the World Cup matches in Qatar in their costumes, that it wouldn't be offensive? Is there a reason why it wouldn't be offensive? Because to me, if you know your history, if you know anything about the Crusades, that this wasn't a good time for the people, you know. So English fans,
No, it wasn't a good time.
You know.
Jesus Christ.
Well, you know what I mean.
Really,
Like,
really, really, really bad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you think about Nazis. Well, the Crusades are equal, okay? Like, in those terms. Like, so people being offended by that is perfectly reasonable.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know why they wouldn't be offended by this, you know. Right. It's like saying,
yes, and the talking heads were dope. That's right, Little.
I mean, it would be like the same thing as somebody wearing a Nazi uniform and going to to a Jewish event, you know, like that. It's the same type of thing. So England fans dressed as Crusaders have been turned away from the World Cup matches in Qatar as their costumes are offensive to Muslims. I mean, why wouldn't they be? Why is this here? I don't know what this thing is. Okay, there we go. two fancy night dress knights were allegedly seen on social media trying to get through the security before England's match with Iran on Monday. They were wearing chainmail and helmets bearing St. George's Cross. It is claimed that the pair, who were carrying novelty swords, were escorted away by 4 officers at the security gate before kickoff. At a similar experience could be in store for those attending tonight's match against the USA, with the Times reporting 3 Lions fans have been banned from dressing as the Christian invaders.
That's funny. Gamer says Qatar is a huge city in Canada. In case people didn't know.
What?
Never mind. Just keep reading.
It comes as England's supporters who have long cheered on their team while bearing the garb of St. George, the nation's patron saint, at previous World Cups, find themselves in trouble for doing so this time around. I wonder why. So FIFA is an anti-racism group say dressing up as crusaders in an Arab country such as Qatar could be seen as offensive given the historical context. Stop, Peaches. So, I mean, what do you think of this? I mean, this to me is a lot more offensive, I would think, to the people than somebody wearing a t-shirt with a rainbow on it. I mean, they got swords and all.
Yeah.
Fake chainmail shirts, I guess. Like, I don't know if these guys once had the real chainmail, but I saw some pictures before, people that had like the fake chainmail. I mean, this just doesn't.
You know where they love chainmail? Canada. That's where Qatar is. No, just kidding. But that's wicked funny, Gamer. That was
that was adorable, Gamer. We love
the
you.
moment of levity that this chat. You're wicked smart. You just got confused about which country it's in. And Qatar, for everybody who doesn't know, is a pretty big city. It's pretty good size. I would say, speaking of Canada, it's probably almost as big as Toronto. I don't know if that's true at all.
Let's not confuse anybody.
Quebec. Now, there's no Qatar.
So here's some more pictures down here. So
Roman.
It says that they were carrying foam swords and wearing chainmail and robes with the cross of St. George. So, here we go. Here's an actual video of a crusader. Should we watch this guy? Should we listen to this guy explain?
Well, is he what?
He was out there.
He's out there.
Accommodation's £450, £500 a night here. If you come in for 2 nights, £1,000, most people can probably afford that. When you come in for a week, you're talking £3,500, £4,000. It's a lot of money. We're lucky. We got in the fan zone, and that's around about $230, $250 a night. So it's kind of affordable. It's expensive, but it's nice. It's okay. It's the only accommodation we could get. And the problem is what they don't realise in places like Qatar is the fans are the essence of the game. We are what makes football. It's not the corporates. They help financially, obviously, in the background, but it's us, the fans, that make the football, and we are the football.
Okay, that's not part of it. Hang on.
Okay, a rich guy complaining.
Yeah.
Awesome. Complaining because he couldn't wear his fucking completely offensive costume to the soccer game that cost him $5,000 a week to attend. All right, sure.
I mean, I couldn't even make it there.
And fuck organized sports as a whole.
It's
okay. Really, let me just iterate. Because this is interesting and everything, and it's crazy that the stupidity and the conflicts and the divisiveness of the whole thing, and also fucking sports. Fuck when all these people are sleeping in the streets at night, but but oh, you're crying about your $5,000 a week fucking stay to go watch a fancy soccer game.
And you can't
go
wear
fuck yourself.
You can't wear your costume.
You can't wear your costume. Can't cosplay at your favorite soccer game that you paid $5,000 for. That you don't give a fuck. Like most people couldn't afford that. Well, yeah, no shit. Thank you, Mr. fucking Douche Nugget. Is Douche Nugget trending on Twitter yet? Well, I just said it. Let's give it a second.
I don't know. It's nuts, though. This stuff is absolutely nuts. Why are my messages to you not showing up? Like, I sent you something on Twitter because it's easier that way.
That's a great point. Marnock just said, too, the FTX sponsorship of the World Cup. They were big sponsors of the World Cup. So, like, the whole thing is just a bunch of shit. It's a big money laundering fucking cash grab. Cash grab. The focus of tonight's Lucky Burrito.
Okay, this is weird, though. These messages aren't going through.
Garland's Twitter got suspended. Yep. I don't understand why. Maybe Twitter said, fuck you, Steve. You're a jerk. You've pissed off George Takei, and now you must suffer the wrath. You called oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it was George Takei.
Well,
Rob Reiner. I told off Rob Reiner and David Crosby in the same day.
All right, I'm going to close Twitter and I'm going to open it back.
That might send up some flags or something.
Maybe if I do that, it will show up.
Elon's jocking me, yo. He ain't gonna make shit better. People fail to understand that Elon like co-opted the company that he turned into Tesla. They're all like, well, yeah, he turned it around, turned into $1 billion company. You wouldn't have any of it if it weren't for the people that started it and that were actually smart.
So I want to show you guys something else that's happening with these team sports over there. So here we go. Nike is cutting the why do I make it the other way?
Why do you make it the other way?
No, I wanted to make
it the way you want.
Like that, I guess. I don't know.
Sure.
So Nike cuts ties with Iran's World Cup team, citing U.S. sanctions. So the sanctions mean that as a U.S. company, they cannot provide shoes to the players of the Iran national team, and that's what Nike's doing now. They're like, oh, because of sanctions, we can't do that. So this just shows us what. Like so we are going to go after the team. I don't know why they wouldn't already have the shoes. Like, it doesn't really make sense. But I guess leather was sanctioned is from what I read. So now Nike is cutting the ties with them, and they're doing this as the U.S. is supposed to be going up against. I don't follow the World Cup, so I might be like behind on this. I don't know. But so as Nike is going as the US is going up against Iran, they're also sanctioning them and cutting them so they can't even get the proper gear that they need. They're not going to be able to get soccer balls in the country if they're made from leather. They're not going to be able to get the shoes. They're not going to be able to get a bunch of things. It just shows what bullies this entire thing is. It's like,
that's what we do.
It's just awful. It's so frustrating to see this. It's so frustrating to see other people being treated a certain way just because, our government has a problem with the people. It's just.
That's the problem. Governments always have a problem with people.
Yep. So I'm going to show you guys something else. Oops. Here we go. I got it. So this is on Twitter. This is Max Blumenthal put this tweet up, and it says news: the U.S. facing a do or die World Cup face-off versus Iran, and Washington designates Iran's national soccer team as a terrorist organization and announces sanctions on leather, which can be used to manufacture shoes and soccer balls. I believe we can win, stated Biden. This is the kind of childish bullshit that we're dealing with. This is the state of our government. This is.
Nope.
He's not. I don't know what he's doing. Yeah, it's awful. It's awful. Yeah, I don't purchase Nikes anymore. I try to be as mindful as possible with what I do purchase. It's hard sometimes to know what companies are ethical and which ones aren't, but we know Nike isn't. That's been proven. Yeah, these sanctions are awful. And they just use them. They're just like, yeah, we're big bullies and we're just going to use these sanctions however we want.
Sanction is war.
It is. It's an actual war. Absolutely. Yeah. And look at Yemen. Exactly, Vicky.
Cuba. Cuba's been under sanctions for 50, 60 fucking years.
Yeah, Cuba has been. Yeah, absolutely. Dilly Love said Iran will be fine with Russia and China and everyone else on their side. Yeah, but at the same time, we're dealing with our country's making these decisions on our behalf. So Little said the WEF wants North America to be one country. So they plan to crumble our economy and government. So we will happily comply. That's the plan. Yeah.
Come along nicely.
Yeah, and this I heard about that, Julie. The USA ended Venezuela sanctions, allowing Chevron to contract oil again. So yeah, Chevron being such a great company, right? They don't do anything.
They're good guys, right?
They're telling you not to be afraid of peaches.
I am afraid of peaches. It's just a thing. I'm afraid there's not a lot to be done about it. You just relax yourself. Don't be trying to jump on me.
When something becomes an industry, ethics become optional, is what I said. That's exactly what, and like the major governments too, the same thing. Ethics are not, that is not what, we don't stand for ethical treatment of people. It's selective. It's nasty. What our government does in our name, it's atrocious. It's absolutely atrocious.
It's atrocious, peaches.
Let me see if I can find the other. So, and I wanted to show everybody that, I believe it was this article right here. Yes.
Every girl crazy about a sharp dressed bird.
Did this come up? Steve just walked away. So this is an article inside World Football. And it is from, it's posted on the 28th of November, 2022, but it says down here the 3rd of August, 2018. So U.S. sanctions pressure forces Adidas to follow Nike and drop the Iran sponsorship. So now this, more of this is happening. This just shows that, this is what they do. This is what they do. And they've done this for a long time. So August 3rd, German sportswear company Adidas is cutting ties with the Iranian national team ahead of next year's Asian Cup, following its footsteps of rival Nike because of increasing geopolitical uncertainty in the region. In a statement, Adidas said it had notified the Football Federation of the Islamic Republic of Iran that we will not extend the existing commercial agreement beyond the agreed term. With implementing U.S. sanctions, Adidas had clearly decided to make an exception from its motto, impossible is nothing. In June, Nike announced that as a U.S. company, we provide shoes to the players and Iran national team at this time. We cannot provide. So this just shows that, this is it's a pattern of this like nasty abusive behavior that these companies do. And this is what fascism is. This is the merger of these companies and the government. Nike shouldn't, what company limits their sales and says, oh yeah, we're not going to sell to you because of this or that? It's the government forces it. And these companies fall in line with them because they have the power. It's a constant like a flip flop between the two. It's like one takes the burden and then the other takes the burden. Oh, well, we have to. The government sanctioned them. We just can't do it. We can't work for, we can't do that anymore. We can't provide that product for them. Like, it's so counterproductive to being in a capitalist society. So they must be getting kickback somewhere else. That they're getting something else. That they're going to look the other way when it comes to the way that their products are made. The children, the people getting paid pennies to make these products. So the government looks the other way when it comes to certain human rights violations, as long as the fascism works for them. So during the World Cup in Russia, Adidas supplied the team with shirts while Nike pulled their sponsorship of individual players. Footwear Adidas Iran shirts were not available for fans to buy, prompting various public campaigns from Iranians to get the manufacturer to make the kit available. So it's just alarming to me that this just continues to happen over and over again. And we move on. We just move on from it. And then they just do it again. And they do it again. And they do it again. Exactly, Jenna. Peaches is angry about the children being paid pennies to make the damn shoes. He is. He says it's not right. So I want to see what you think about this. Baba. Oh my God, Roman. That's crazy. No, I didn't put anything up to cover the teddy bears and the kids and the thing. Like I didn't. I know that other people have covered that. It's fucked up. Yeah, and it is reflected on how we treat our own people. It's reflected on, the fact that I see people still supporting these brands that we know do this. Like if we actually wanted to make a change and we wanted Nike to feel the pain and the sting, people would stop buying their products knowing But somehow as a society, most people just like, they'll be outraged with something when they find out about it, but then like there's not a follow through to it. And it can be really hard. And I think that that's also by design, because they're working against us in every single possible way. They're working against us as we have to work so many hours. We're so busy. We're so like, so not only, so we don't make enough. We have to we're overworked. So then we need to have cheaper meals. And then we eat, like, people eat convenient food. And they eat crap food because they are exhausted and they don't have the time or the energy or the knowledge to put into healthy meals. So then that cycle, you know, it continues, and then people get sick from that. And then people like are get that whole like that narrative that gets spun through our heads all the time. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, which is an impossible task to do. It's not even a possible thing to do. So people get that mentality, and like, you have to work yourself to the bone. You have to work even if you're sick. You better not call out. You better not your child can't be sick because you have to be here. You are so critical to, you know, whatever company that you're working for or whatever it is that you do. You're so necessary and so needed that you can't have any time off, but they don't pay you enough. They don't provide you with the health care. So, you know, you work, you're overworked, you eat what you can, and you continue this cycle, and just to consume more. Like, every time the holidays come around, I get this like overwhelming, like this whole thing. Like, it's like, oh, it's the end of the year. So the capitalism is, you know, like, everyone has to make their end of the year profits. So everybody's pushed to participate in these holidays and these things and their tradition, and people don't break traditions. They keep calling it a tradition, and you get stuck in this perpetual cycle of eating things that aren't good for you, of having shitty health care, unless you're somebody that can afford good health care. And if you can afford the good health care, you're probably, you know, you're either like, it's more likely that you are you're getting that off the backs of somebody else, because that's just how it works. And then the cycle continues. And the cycle continues, and, you know, we have to feed capitalism, and everything is based upon that. And it's not based upon our health. It's not based upon having sustainable, you know, making sure that everybody has everything that they need. It's not based upon, you know, as a tribe that we need to do better, as a human race that we can all work together and all have good outcomes. No, it's stepping on top of that next person's head, and stepping on their head, and climbing up over them, and being the strongest of the weakest people, being the strongest of the sickest people, being the strongest of the people that, you know, can't survive on their own because they don't have the skills. We aren't taught how to gather our own food. We aren't taught how to build our shelters. We're completely taxed out of existence. You're born and you owe money. You're born into debt. You are in debt your whole entire life and the entire cycle. And even the money that you earn, they tax that. And then when you spend it, they tax that. And then when you die, they tax that. And they tax your family for that money. And the cycle just continues and continues and continues. And then people participate in this system, and they buy the child labor shoes, and they buy that, you know, because you're stuck in it. You're stuck in the cycle. So until we decide that it's time to break these cycles, until we decide that, okay, things might not be great and things are going to be uncomfortable, until we decide to stand up for something, we're not going to get any better as a society.
Do. See, also, if we went there, we would be we'd be neighbors with the coolest vegetable growing lady with cool corn.
Jenna Colby with the dinosaurs. Yes, Peaches is still molt. Yeah, he really started his molt like in the last week. Before that, it was like a little bit like he was kind of like in the pre. Now he's molting.
Trish T. Baba Yaga.
Oh, we are going to cover Hugo Boss. Actually, that is something that I have in my queue of things to cover.
Speaking of bosses, you can see the top Bill Clinton's top advisor. Clinton, committed suicide. Like 30 miles from his home. And weird that he was a guy who let old Jeffrey Epstein into the White House like 7 of the 17 times that he went there.
Yikes.
Yeah. So it's some bosses are tougher than others, I guess, is what I was saying.
So we have something that Steve has come across.
What are we doing now?
What are we doing?
I'm just nervous about this bird, the way he's looking at me.
Oh my god.
He wants to jump over to me, and I don't want him to. I want you not to do that. Do we understand each other? Don't flap your wings all aggressively and shit either, because that scares me as well.
So, Steve, I'm going to let you explain. His tweet.
Okay.
From Alyssa Milano. And she said, I gave back my Tesla. I bought the new VW EV. I love it. I'm not sure how advertisers can buy space on Twitter. Publicly traded companies' products being pushed in alignment with hate and white supremacy doesn't seem to be a winning business model. Just because, we're talking about fascism and these companies and the government and how connected and tied they are together. How can all of this fit so well together?
How could she be so fucking oblivious to inherent truths about VW as a corporation in itself? Like the things she's pointing at Elon and going, you're. It's like, so you go to the Volkswagen that was actually a car company that was started. It was Hitler's fucking dream child to give everybody in Germany be able to afford a new car, kind of like a Henry Ford type of thing here in the 20s. Henry Ford, another fucking intolerant douchebag as well. Ironic how that works. But ultimately, she misses the point of the things that she's condemning are fully in place as she, stands up for sending billions to Ukraine. Why are you talking when I'm talking? Stop talking.
He's talking with you.
My goodness, you don't know anything about Alyssa Milano. Wait, is she the?
I loved
she was
her
the
in
actress
the 80s.
on. She was from the 80s, from like Full House or something, or one
Family
of those
Ties?
Family Ties. Okay, I was close. It started with an F. It did. It started with an F. Thank you, Peaches.
And she was in Charmed too.
She was in Charmed. Sure. You sound like a chicken right now. I don't mean to put you down. It's kind of roostery. Just saying. You got a little hen in your feathers there, buddy. Yeah. Cock-a-doodle-doo to you. So anyway, so the Volkswagen company starts from a long line of weird Nazi corporatism stuff going on, and a weird like socialist kind of attitude. Like people forget that the Nazis were, were actually trying to like do fucking things for their countrymen. Like they, like put a car in everybody's garage or whatever. Like there were like common goals.
Socialists.
They were socialist, and people like
so
embrace
this is where
that.
the nuance comes in.
This is the nuance right here. This is where they get you. So you get sucked into this thing that you think is a good thing because you see all your you see all your poor people coming up with you, and things are seem to get a little bit better, right? There's more worker owned, corporations and different things are happening under Hitler's rule that people take as good things because they just, they're fighting this fucking crazy war and stuff too. There's a lot of stuff going on.
So people are like, wow, he's doing stuff for us. He's implementing these socialist programs. They're pro-socialists. Mm-hmm. Like they want all these great things to happen to the people.
Right. Only,
people,
most of the people, just not, the Jewish ones or the dark ones or, any of the ones that they deem unworthy.
But they capture the people. They capture the people with
the
socialist programs.
They capture the imagination of the populist imagination, right? So everybody got behind it in that level, and then they can implement their one stipulation, like, yeah, we're gonna have all this fucking awesome shit, but not the Jews, and we can't have any of that. So what do? All the fucking horrible things that they do in that same kind of way. And it's identical to what is happening today. All of those nefarious motherfuckers who got those jobs in those positions that were horrible racist fucks. Not that all of them were, of course, that's impossible, but most of them, we're going to assume, and they all, migrated to positions of amnesty and positions in NASA and our space program and our science program and our weapons development and our fucking homeland security, all of these different things, right? They weren't punished for those things. They were fucking given stuff. And all of those same people are integrated into our government, into many governments around the world today. That's why you have people like Klaus Schwab. Like these people are really the actual Nazis, right? Because they're, and even maybe some of them have evolved past their fucking hatred of races or whatever the fuck they call it, or religions, but irrelevant. The fact is that all of these things are built into our society now, and people just choose to ignore it. They think Operation Paperclip is a joke. Like it's a real thing that occurred, but now it's a joke somehow. Like people were putting that in the Melissa Milano thread, like, like you don't get it because
well,
they're laughing at it, but
they're missing this whole thing too.
Missing the identical things that are going on that were going on back then.
Well, they're missing that, yes, that's what happened with Volkswagen, right? Like they came from that era, that country. But that does that mean that everybody who owns a Volkswagen is a Nazi?
No, not even close. That doesn't even mean that any of the people do. Or are.
Exactly.
But
and everyone's like, so Volkswagen was literally founded by the Nazis and Hitler. So people are automatically discounting the entire car manufacturing car company based upon that.
Well,
but yeah, I wonder, do these people drive a Tesla? Because where did Elon get his riches? Where did Ford, is Ford a great company? Like all of these companies, none of them, they all have dirty in them.
Yeah.
But they're comparing it, and then so somebody comes in and says Volkswagen was literally founded by the Nazis and Hitler, and then Elon Musk is laughing about it.
Right. Well, because it is ludicrous that she's like calling him the same like accusing him of all those same horrible things that everybody agrees that the Nazis were, right? And then she's going to go buy the car from the company that was founded by those same exact people. So that's like, you know, that is funny to me. If I was Elon, I'd be laughing at her too. That's fucking stupid. Like, you're fucking dumb. What are you doing? But, you know, it doesn't excuse the fact that all the things that were at play back then, like people with money helping and people laundering vast sums of money, and all of these things are happening in real time around us, just like they did in the fucking late 30s and early 40s, exactly the same way, with mostly the same families doing it. So, like, you know, there's new families, there's new money involved, but the fact is that everybody is playing that same exact game.
Who does Elon work with?
It's a game of whack-a-mole.
What arm of the United States government does Elon work with? Where does he get his government contracts? Where are those government contracts, and where are they from? SpaceX, right? NASA.
SpaceX. Well, it's the anti-NASA because they only, you know, the only criminal they get are hand-me-downs. I don't know exactly what the difference is, but I do know that, you know, that whole thing.
It's so different though. And where
It's
he got
exactly the
his
same.
money is the same. And he's
Colonialist
actually
bullshit.
currently
Same
doing
exact
it.
Same thing. Diamond mines and fucking bullshit.
So, and I'm pretty sure that, you know, I don't know, are the Nazis still in power right now? Does Germany own Volkswagen, or is it a company? You know what I mean? It's like they're pointing the finger at one, acting like one is better than the other.
Right.
But is it?
They're identical, is my argument.
It's just a different time frame as to when it happened.
Yeah.
And it'd be like saying, you know, oh, well, Elon did make his, you know, his family's fortune did come from the mines, the emerald mines, right? But that was like, you know, generations ago.
Yeah, I you know, Monarch said SpaceX. Steve would lucky look up Glen Air Incorporated. I used to work for that aerospace, and I remember back then one department was completely used for SpaceX projects. Yeah, it seems to me like he's integrated. You know what I mean? He has the use of research and development tools by corporations, by governments, whatever. You know, he's just, oh, you're Elon, you're good, you can do whatever, and they do. Why is Steely Dan trending? Because they're probably one of the best bands that ever existed ever. That could be why. Hopefully Donald Fagen hasn't died. I went to see Donald Fagen one time with a solo band, and they played Shakedown Street by the Grateful Dead. I thought I was going to die. But I made it. I made it through.
Yeah, I did know that, Baba. I've been learning more about this, that your gut health can cause mental illness. Absolutely. It's directly connected. Like it's pretty crazy to me that they can categorize our bodies as if dental and vision isn't part of our body, as if it's like some kind of external entity.
Well,
like,
your eyes are extra. Everybody knows that. They just pop out at night, right? You just put them on your nightstand. No.
My glasses.
Oh. I thought those were your eyes. Okay, never mind.
So yeah, it's just, you know, yeah, and Volvo used to aid Nazi Germany, is what Monarch said. So
sure.
It's just,
there's a lot of corporate stuff.
I mean, Volkswagen.
Everybody, like, it seems to me like there's so much like in times of war, you know, everybody works together. So it's just like it could be this corporation, that corporation, this guy and that guy, and they all put their fucking money in because they knew they were going to fucking bank off this Ukrainian shit. So everybody bought the FTX or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? It's like just this giant scam that you either know or you're on the outside looking at it going, why do we just keep funneling money into this This is like buying a yacht that's fucking, junk. And you just keep dumping money into it, trying to make it fucking seaworthy.
So Elon Musk is an example of fascism, right? It's a company and a government merging together.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that him having Twitter, that he's not gonna do the same thing? He's already tied up in into the government. They've saved his companies.
Yeah, exactly, Miguel. A Volkswagen literally translates to people's car, people's wagon. It's Volks means folks. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah, I love Rose McGowan. She's awesome.
Jenna Colby says, y'all seriously check out Payne Glasses online. If you need glasses, you can get a whole ass pair for under $20, including shipping and everything.
Wow.
God damn. That's some fucking quality advice right there, Jenna. I did not know that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly, Monarch. They are empowering Elon Musk. They're making it seem like, oh yeah, haha.
Right. Hitler totally stole the people. Oz, absolutely. That's what my point is about the similarity to him and to Elon and fucking Adolf isn't that far off. You know what I mean? Just because like he's just like this folk hero cult of personality kind of thing, it's weird similarities, weird parallels going on.
Yeah, and he did. Yeah, exactly, Roman. He did not. He had zero to do with the creation of Tesla. And the name itself shouldn't even be able to be used.
No,
like they're taking
horrible.
Somebody's name.
They stole all his research. How much stuff is out there that our governments and stuff are using against us and other countries that people don't even know about? Like Tesla was so far ahead of the curve from all of his peers. Like when it comes to wireless
and it just memory holds people. People hear that name when they think of the car. They don't think of the genius person that had. Oh my gosh, it's amazing that the inventions that we do know about that he has done.
Yeah, it's like the same thing as what do they equate it to? Like Elon is this generation's Thomas Edison. Holder of many patents. Fucking developer of none.
Oh, I saw Thomas. I got a cat on my lap.
Kitten. I seen the picture of Thomas's cat.
I know, he's so cute. Or wait, is she?
Groot kitty.
Yes, finger man.
Kitten. So
it's crazy to me.
Steve Wolfberger. I didn't even see he was in here.
He came in.
Howdy. Nice to see you.
So I think that things are being missed. Things are being overlooked. And I'm just, we're just pointing out that there's all these things that are happening in the ties and what they want us to, the immediate response. They don't want us to think about it. Remember, if somebody is telling you to take their opinion and this is what it is, and that's it, and not to question it. Question people. If they don't like questions, then they're probably not telling you the truth.
Yeah, I'm not convinced SpaceX is like the shit or is cool or whatever, because I don't really know enough about it to really have an opinion, other than the fact that I think space exploration is fucking weird. Like, we can't get shit together on the planet. I understand about looking up at, potential things, but I think we've established that we have the technology to make sure, the errant asteroid doesn't come by and wipe us out without any kind of fucking, chance to fight back to it. But other than that, even if that does happen, too fucking bad, man. Jesus Christ, we gave it a good shot. Gave it the old college try, didn't we?
So the other thing that was coming up is that people were saying that Hugo Boss made the Nazis' uniforms. I'll show you guys this the screen grab of that. So people are like, yeah, they were worn by the Nazis. They were produced by Hugo Boss. So because this company made the uniforms, now we have to remember that when the Nazi party, the Socialist Party, when they first formed, they weren't all Nazi. They didn't come out and blazing saying, yeah, we're going to do these awful things that are going to cause a world war, you know what I mean? Cause the world war to happen. That didn't happen that way. They came out and were like, yeah, we're for the people. We want these socialist programs because these are going to help people. So now this is coming out now, later on, and people are like, they're like reverse inferring that, like, oh yeah, no wonder their colognes look like bombs and other things like that. So now it's like a reverse cancellation. It's like, oh well, they did this in the past, so we have to cancel them now.
Yeah, the flying rocks that the Earth is going to be exposed to from the asteroid belt and stuff might be problematic, but we got some pretty good drone flyers up there, man. We got billions and billions and billions of dollars to shoot billions and billions of dollars worth of ammo at the billions and billions of asteroid space rocks.
So these are the uniforms. You see them, Steve? You see the uniforms?
I see. I see. Well, I don't see the uniform. I see like a handsome cologne container. Oh, now I see the soldier. Sure. And
so people are trying to reverse, cancel Hugo Boss because they made the Nazi uniforms then.
Reverse cancel?
Yeah, well, backwards cancel.
Is that a thing?
I guess.
You have to say, excellence instead of cancel?
And then people had these, I love going into the comments and things like this because people, let's not forget that Ford cars were also hired by the Nazis.
Is that Prince Harry modeling?
Ford himself was pro-Nazi. That's what I was saying beforehand.
Is that Jackson Hinkle in that? Hold on a second.
Okay, let's not.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So, not forgetting the role of IBM. Without IBM, Hitler would have had an uphill task in his ethnic cleansing agenda. America couldn't have carried out its mass and forced sterilization campaigns. IBM offered them the means to register people based on their identity, based on their ethnicity. That it may be true that happened, but also why was that? I believe it was for census purposes.
Miguel thought it was funny.
Miguel, don't encourage him.
It was right there. I had to take it.
Oh my God, stop.
No, nobody did not see that coming.
No, I did not see that coming.
Everybody hit that like button.
Yes,
Press it. Quick.
And right here, Baba, you're right. Look at that. She says, Hitler said he was working off America's genocide. He was impressed by what happened to the natives.
Mm-hmm. I was just teasing.
It always comes
Jackson.
back. It always comes back.
I was just teasing about Jackson Hinkle. I don't think he's a Nazi, but he is a handsome young lad, and he filled that uniform right out.
That was not him. Don't even start.
It wasn't him.
No.
Wait, I'm getting in my ear. There's some kind of communication problem. I'm not sure if it was or
it's
isn't.
The ear that Peaches bit. So
Peaches
we cannot rely on that ear.
That ear has been compromised. We're gonna have to move to the left ear. No, wait, it was the left ear. The right ear, I've lost them.
Oh my God!
Your guess is as good as mine.
It did look like Robbie from. Isn't that Robbie from The Hill?
Stunt double. It was Jackson Hinkle's stunt double. I'm hearing now. That's what it was.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That clears it up.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you, Monarch.
Exactly. I did not see that coming.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, that's so gross. The fatty beard thing is
Those
just
comments.
so fucking gross, Monarch. It's so gross.
Roman said those.
I don't want to hear that.
Roman said those comments are gonna Holocaust you.
Oh God, you guys are brutal.
Oh, Peaches, easy. I know. It's not their fault. I brought it on myself. I did. I brought the wrath.
Jenna Colby said, remember being a kid and wondering how the fuck anyone could go along with, let alone actually supporting a Nazi ass shit? Yeah. I didn't understand it.
And then you watch it.
I didn't understand it then. And now in the last few years, I've watched everything happen around us like this. And I'm like, wow, they didn't even have to put people into camps.
They didn't learn anything.
They didn't have to build the camps. They didn't have to even do it. Our homes became our camps.
Yep. They were like, this FEMA thing's never gonna. These FEMA death camps are not gonna work out. We're gonna have to.
No, because the people would revolt
At
enough.
home.
You know, they would revolt enough that they knew that if they tried to do something similar to what they've done in other countries. You guys are funny. Yeah, exactly. Jenna, I feel like that too. Like I wake up every day and it's like, oh, what the fuck now? What is it gonna be? You know, like, oh, Peaches is Leo. Oh my God. I go Peaches. I mean, Leo. Steve is saying hi to Peaches is what I was trying to say. I do that. Like, did you guys have siblings growing up? Did your mom or your dad yell out to you and be like, blah, 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 blah. Ah! I mean,
Yeah. My mom just called everybody.
Tom. Steve.
My
I
mom
do
just
that.
Called all of us. My sister, my brother David. She would just call us Tom. Like Tom boy, Tom girl. Apple. Exactly. I stopped petting him and he's like, no.
Yeah, he was like, no, you're not allowed to stop petting me. That's not okay. Apple, please. He's just like, that's what that means. So I just want us to really, to think about when we are hearing things in the news, when we're seeing things, to really examine it, to try to look at it, to try to see where the truth really lies.
If you can, if you even have the energy, you know what I mean? It's like,
well, just don't try not to take things at face value.
Yes.
And know that you can hold two things to be true at the same time. You can acknowledge that this is a part of something and that this is also a part of something, and not fall into the trap of being on sides of something, where you can just clearly look at it from the middle and say, all right, well, this is happening, and and hold that opinion where you might not necessarily know 100% for sure what's happening.
Don't do it.
And sometimes that's hard.
No,
it's hard. It's hard to be in a place of uncertainty and not know all of the truth, and like, in our minds, I feel like most people, we want to just have a solid, this means this, and that's it. And not knowing, our brains are seeking for those answers. And I think that's why people come to conclusions about things without evaluating it to find out if it's true or not, and not to question it, and that people aren't using their critical thinking skills. And I think everybody can fall into that trap. Everybody can fall into the trap of, you know, wanting something to be true or wanting to find a resolution in your brain to what's happening. And it's really easy to follow into these narratives. It's really easy to, you know, it's a really easy thing to listen to mainstream media and just go, okay, that is what it is. Okay, yep, I'm gonna go along now, and I'm gonna go along, and I'm gonna, you know, continue to consume. I'm gonna continue to support these companies because I am exhausted and I'm worn out, and you know, it's that same perpetual cycle that they keep us in, and we have to figure out ways to break from it.
You could do the same exact
to
thing with
acknowledge it.
media as well, I should say.
You can come over and say it.
I'm
Steve is telling me that the same thing happens with independent media. You know, if someone doesn't allow you to question them and they want you to take everything that they possibly say as just truth, and that's it.
That should be a red flag.
Yeah, that's a huge red flag. If somebody's saying to you that, you know, it couldn't possibly be anything else,
It probably is.
then, you know, then they may not be looking at something from a nuanced perspective. They might not be using all of their critical thinking skills. And we have to remember that we insert our own past and our own beliefs and our own, you know, like our brains tend to want to find a solution to what's happening.
So fluffy he is. He's got himself all fucking.
Peaches is all fluffed up, getting pets from Steve, and he's very excited.
He's very happy about it. Those are good pets. These good pets, they make your skin feel good.
Yeah, exactly. Baba. Yeah. Baba Yaga said, genetic variation plays an important role in explaining individual differences in thinking skills, such as memory and information processing speed. Exactly. We're all taught different things. I went to 9 different schools growing up. And so I moved around every couple of years. So I experienced meeting a lot of people, constantly having to adapt and constantly having to adjust. And it was like, you know, I always wanted to find my tribe, find the people. And that's the first thing I did when we moved somewhere. You know, I wanted to go and find the people that, you know, I could, you know, get along with and that I could learn to trust. And it's not always easy. You got to kind of weed people out sometimes when you're in a space and you don't realize, you know. But you learn real quickly that the people that don't want questions aren't telling you the truth, or they aren't seeking the truth. If they want you to, you know, to be seen and not heard, it's a red flag. Be careful. Absolutely. Finding your tribe is very important. Julie says to question, especially yourself, is a sign of intelligence. Yeah, I'm constantly questioning and challenging and everything. And I could hold the belief that something I believe may not be 100%. And it's a weird place of uncertainty sometimes. And, you know, it's not always a comfortable place to be. Trish says, I read the New York Times every day. A bad habit. But when you're reading the New York Times, are you taking everything and absorbing it as factual and as truth? Or are you questioning the narrative and why they're saying it? Are you spotting things in there that aren't
It's probably constant.
as they seem? Because you can read something every day. Like I'll read things, but I always try to like then say, okay, well, what could the angle be on this? What is it possibly? And it's like you have to be a detective with any kind of information.
Yeah, if you want to understand it.
Lala said, I get imposter syndrome no matter where I am. I feel like I don't fit in. Well, you fit in here. We love you. Julie said that studies show that epigenetics can overcome genetics.
I think genetics are overcome all the time. People are born with disabilities and they fucking overcome them constantly. So that's good.
See, Jilly, I didn't even see your correction underneath. I didn't even notice that the C was missing in that. I just read it how you said how you meant it. Yeah, and your tribe can be much stronger and closer than family. Absolutely. I feel that is okay. The cat's eating the potato that the bird dropped.
I know, because it smells like fish. So he's like, yeah.
Oh, he's eating the fishy potato.
Fish potatoes.
Purple
potatoes.
Yeah, because I feel like, the people in your tribe, I don't know. I feel like if you have a tribe that's trying to be good, like do the best good for the, for the people that if they're being honest.
Oily fish. It's good for us.
Then it can be stronger. I guess it depends on how authentic it is. I think that authenticity and understanding that people come from different backgrounds and different, situations and try to find each other's strengths. And if you approach it in that way, can you imagine if everything was approached in that way, where it was an inclusive thing, like where it was about, what do you do well? Instead of like, where can I fit this puzzle piece? Oh, it fits here. It's okay. That's good. I'll just put it there. Imagine if a job actually did care about what your strengths were. Imagine if workers did own the means of production.
Imagine.
It would be a completely. It would transform.
We got purple potatoes at the Stop and Chops.
We did. I got, they're little organic purple potatoes.
And they're friggin' delicious. The bird likes to chew them up. I don't know if he ate that much of it, but he sure made a mess out of it.
Oz Whistle said it is only recently that we have to find our tribe. Before that, it was just the people around us when we got born.
Yep.
It is so true.
Used to be.
Yeah, this is one tribe. Absolutely. Well, dude, you're part of the Baritonians.
She probably does have a flying monkey, and I'm pretty sure that's what she calls me when I'm not paying attention.
No, I don't. Gore. Oh my gosh. I was told that all the time as a child. As kids, it was what we were told to be seen and not heard. A damn word, and why I will always be a burden. But you're not a burden, and you're an amazing musician. That shines through. That beauty shines through. And I think that something that I learned when I was in years of therapy, something that I learned is that you got to stop playing the tapes You got to stop playing the tapes that are on repeat. You know, I was told like my whole life, like you're to be seen and not heard. You're, you know, all these things. You're crying. I'll give you something to cry about. You know, like, and then I knew that meant that if I didn't stop, if I didn't control my emotions, then I was going to get my ass kicked. So all these things are implemented onto us, and we have these tapes that we play over and over again that, like, you know, and we might not always realize that we have them playing on repeat. You know, it's like, oh, rewind, oh, repeat, you know, and it just keeps going and going. And we need to understand that we need to stop those tapes. Imagine taking it out and just shredding the freaking thing and destroying it. Like, no, that's not true. You should be heard. We want your voice heard here. Because what you have to say matters. You matter. This is a place where you matter. Good, Trish. I'm going to start checking in with you. Did you question the bullshit on the paper?
Yeah, I took one of those tiny purple taters and cut a little piece off that had an eye sticking out. So maybe eventually we could actually grow a tiny purple potato tree and give Jenna some cuttings or potatoes. Or
well, yeah, all you have to do is have some. We can send you some potatoes.
We can send you some.
You can just send, like, you just have them in a dark place. They'll
just grow.
They'll start to grow, and you put those in the soil, and they will grow into potato plants.
Soup is good food, gamer.
Yes.
Also known as sopa. Sopa.
Oh my God, Monarch! I need to see a picture of this Frenchie bulldog that you have, because I love bulldogs.
I love Frenchie bulldogs too. I just watched the video.
You should, are you on Twitter? If you are, you should send it to my Twitter, or you should send it to stevecutlerlive@gmail.com.
I just watched the video about a little French bulldog that was like running around. They're sitting outside a pool and he's like barks at the guy and then just takes off like a shot, and he's running around the yard at top speed and tries to navigate around the pool and falls in the water. It's fucking hilarious.
Oswhistle said to Gore that abuse of children and mothers is a sure sign of a suck tribe. Sick, maybe did you mean sick tribe? And I recognized that when I was little, that, you know, I always wonder sometimes, like, when I look at, there's like so many like cult-like behaviors and cult-like fractions that happen, and I think, like, how do the people know if they've been raised a certain way their whole life? How do they know that what's being said to them and what's being done to them, that it's wrong? Because they feel it, right? They feel it in them, and they know that it's wrong. And it cuts through all of the programming that they're told. Because I think about that. I'm like, how come only certain people that, you know, could have, gosh, I mean, it would have been so easy for me to fall for a bunch of bullshit, you know, just being a little kid and being told those things. You know, it took me into being like I recognized it as a kid that it was wrong, that it didn't feel right, that I was treated differently. But it took me into being an adult to realize that I was still letting those tapes play and that I had to stop them. And I didn't repeat them when I had, you know, my daughter. I didn't repeat that kind of behavior.
Yeah, I like the big those big paint buckets that are like 7 gallons or something. I don't know. Those work really good for growing things in. various things, potatoes,
You want to get food safe.
ganja.
You want to get food safe.
Yeah, whatever. I'm just saying I've done it before and it worked out just fine.
Allah, you know it. You're part of this family. See, for me, it wasn't a Christian family that was super abusive. I wasn't raised with like, a whole lot of like religion and all of that. Mostly just, celebrated the holidays mindlessly, even though we weren't Christian. Like we celebrated Christmas and Easter and all the things like that went along with that. But for me, it was a military household for me. So it was a different kind of, cultish behavior. Yeah, you and Drew did a great show tonight, Lala. If you guys didn't see it, you guys should check out Drew's show. Can we grab a link for that? And I'll put that in because it was really great. I always learn something. I help produce. I'm behind the scenes on the show, but I always learn stuff on the show. It's so interesting, and it applies to everybody, even if you don't have epilepsy. The things that he's talking about.
Yeah, today about the sweeteners and artificial sweeteners and additives that they put in food and stuff. That's like just valuable information for everyone who eats.
Yeah. And it really helps you use your critical thinking skills in a different way. And, you can look at it as like, if you know somebody that has epilepsy, because I mean, like Drew pointed out today, if you've had more than 2 seizures, then you're considered to have epilepsy.
Yep.
And people have them in their sleep. Well, they don't even realize they're having them.
That's
so,
I mean,
said
most of his were like that. So that's
yeah.
gotta be disorienting as fuck. You wake up and you feel sick and hungover and stuff. You don't even realize what happened. Like, what the fuck? Okay.
And you never know when something might happen.
I didn't tell him to get up there. I didn't tell him that was a good idea.
Steve is talking to the bird again.
What the fuck, cat? Kitty, you don't see a problem in what you're doing right now? Jesus.
Did the bird just fly?
He just tried to get the cat. He flew to the cat.
Okay, so Peaches flew off of his stand over onto the chair where the cat was. All right, is he going to bed? Absolutely, Baba. Growing up in all different types of cultures and people plays a huge role in knowing how to adapt. Yes. Especially because within my household, I didn't feel like I ever really fit into my surrounding family. I was always the, tie-dye rainbow outcast of the family. So Oz, we're gonna have to do some more on tribes and stuff. I bet you Leo will eat that.
Leo.
So Oz said that there was 2 main types of tribe: familiar and associative. For instance, this chat is an associative tribe. If your associative tribe is stronger than your familiar tribe, then your familiar tribe is sick. You didn't let him have it. Oh. Balance strengthens to offset weakness. Little said, wait, Lucky's a witch with all these pets. There's no way she doesn't have a flying monkey. We want to see the flying monkey. Now I get it. Yeah, Steve likes to say that I float and, you know, I must be made of wood or something.
I like to say the what?
That I float. I do.
She's made of wood. A witch.
I'm not made of wood.
Don't you guys know that Monty Python and the Holy Grail, right? A witch. She's not really a witch, but her feet are probably webbed.
We are stocked up on some rice and beans. We have a lot of dried beans, and we have
She floats. She's a
rice,
witch.
but I need to get the food safe buckets and really put more aside.
She weighs the same
And
amount
Baba-
as a duck.
Whenever you are feeling up to it, I would love to have you on to talk about the different stuff that you do and how you prep and everything.
She turned me into a new. I got better.
And everybody gets the invitation. Everybody is welcome to come on. I really would love to have everybody join me to show
Riley
off
Marston
your different
said that.
talents. What?
I said Riley Marston is the one who said that first, I think.
What?
That you had webbed feet,
Yeah. Yeah.
webbed toes. She has a flying ferret. 2 flying ferrets.
Yeah. Latchkey Kid. Yeah. Remember Be Home? It was Be Home before the street lights are on.
Which was like 4:30 on like now. Right? Now it's 4:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah. Vicky said, Lucky B, I hate our conversations. Isn't that how it's supposed to be?
Yes. It is.
Oh boy. I heard that threat a lot. I got in trouble as a kid. All right, really? Really?
Peaches, come on now.
Oh, it's because we collect all the best people here. And you're one of them.
Yeah, that's the same thing I say about whistling. Like I could whistle. Like my mom or dad or somebody would fucking yell to me and I'd whistle back to them. And that was sufficient. Like they realized, but they didn't realize how far away I could be. They would think I was at one kid's house, but I was way down the fucking other end of the road. And but I could whistle really, really loud, as you know. And I'm quite proud of that because I can use all my fingers. I have to use a combination of 2 of them, but any 2 fingers, and I can whistle really loud. So if you ever hear somebody like yelling and jumping around, crazy beardo guy whistling, you're like, Stever over there, half a mile away. If you see me in the telescope,
I can't whistle. I'm just not very good at it. I never have been. I remember I was in 2nd grade and it was like a field day thing. Oh my gosh. I think I have a picture of this. Do you guys want to see a picture of this?
Field day?
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's when I lived down south. And I couldn't whistle. So the lady was like, just try, pretend. Okay, you can go. This was
All right, Peaches. Thank you very much.
1987.
Young man.
Field day, 1st grade. Is it showing up? Yeah.
That's cool. Your mom was a piano teacher.
So that's me in the middle. My little blonde hair.
So that means you can whistle in key.
And I remember that my school right there was backed up to the sunbeam bread, the white bread. And I loved that. I loved the fresh white bread that we would get.
Yeah. And just the bakery was right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it smelled like heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. I imagine that's what heaven smells like. It's a combination of that fresh baked bread and the smell of my mom's kitchen when I was like 7 on Thanksgiving or Christmas or something. Like
Yeah.
that kind of combination of smells together is almost like soma for your fucking soul. It's like, oh, that presses all the right buttons sincerely.
Oh, these ones were organic and they were trying to sprout. We didn't even have them that long. But they were trying to grow.
People are demanding proof of your web feet.
I don't have web feet.
They want photographic evidence.
Oh, how did I get the name Lucky Burrito? Okay, so I had my grandmother. Oh my gosh. See, I have my baby album out. I'm gonna pull up a picture of her.
I can whistle pretty okay with just my lips, but my fingers I can whistle like exponentially louder, 100 times louder. Easy.
Are you guys ready for this? Okay. So that's me and my grandmother when I was 2.5 months old. And her name was Alita. So when I was a little girl, I would call her Fajita. She was Grandma Fajita, and I actually have cards from her where she signed her name as Fajita, like Grandma Fajita for me. So, oh my gosh, I gotta put this away before I show you guys like all these like pictures. So this is me when I was little, and I would call my grandma. I had my blonde little ringlet curls, and I called my grandma Fajita. So one year I went to a pet store and I said hi to the ferrets. And there was just one I wasn't intending. I had no intention at all of buying a ferret. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to say hi to him because I've always just loved ferrets. And so I picked this one up and he's just really super sweet. I'm like, wow, this little guy is so sweet. He's so nice. And I held all of the other ones. And I'm like, oh, they're all crazy except for this one. And he was just super chill and like laid there in my arms. And my grandmother, she passed away in 2009. And she was like, I didn't grow up really knowing her like completely, like because we moved from Washington State when I was 4. I was taken from there with my mom, and then she married my stepdad. So, she, but like, I remember her coming to visit and she was just always like super special, super crafty. Like, even though I didn't see her very much when I was little growing up, she was like, you know, she was just like, I don't know, we were bonded. We were super bonded and super close. Like my cousin Ryan, after my grandmother died, he's like, you and grandma were, you know, even though I grew up with her and I saw her for holidays, you guys were just the closest. Like you were closer to grandma than any of us were. So her name, you know, was Grandma Fajita, and like, you know, I'm the one that named her that, and like everybody would call her that. So when I got this, I ended up taking this ferret. I ended up buying this ferret, and I was like, for whatever reason, I got it in my head. This was years ago that I wanted, like, you know, somehow pay tribute to my grandmother with this ferret, naming it. Like, I don't know how it really came about, but I was like, oh, Fajita. And someone was like, well, Fajita's like a girl's name. You got to name it like Burrito or something. And the way that he would lay in my arms, like I walked around the store with this ferret. Ferrets are crazy. Like they're you know what I mean? Like especially a baby, they're not calm. He just laid in my arms like the whole time, and he was just like, I was like, oh, he's like a little burrito. And so he ended up with the name Burrito. And it was kind of like a way of paying, like, you know, tribute to the funny story of me naming my grandma Fajita. I was like, oh yeah, well, you know, name him Burrito. And, you know, it was just like a sweet thing. So then later on, Burrito got a girlfriend, and I adopted a ferret from somebody local. This ferret was crazy. She was albino, and she was already a couple years old, and she was a biter. She bit everybody. First time I went to go meet her and held her, she bit me and like drew blood on my hand. Like my hand was like bleeding. I'm standing there like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So her name was Lucky. And oh my gosh, Peaches. So she got the nickname Lucky because she had, like, I guess this is what I was told. She had fallen from like a second-story balcony, like down to the first floor, and like survived it and everything else. And like, oh my gosh, stop it! Peaches is angry because he knew Lucky. So I just kept saying, oh, Lucky Burrito, because it was cute that Burrito got a girlfriend, and, you know, he was lucky because he got a girlfriend, and so it became a thing. And so we named the business Lucky Burrito because we thought it was just so cute, like just like my art and the stuff that I sell and stuff like that. And so we named it Lucky Burrito. And then we found out later on that a group of ferrets is called a business. So it was really cute that we named the business after the ferrets. And we didn't know, and a group of ferrets is called a business. So it was like one of those meant to be things. And then people just started always calling me Lucky, and I just kind of stuck. So that's how that came about. So
all right, Lucky Burrito origin story. Thank you, everybody.
So yeah, it really started out with, you know, for my grandma. Mm-hmm.
Me too.
All right, I'm gonna catch up on you guys' comments here, and then we'll probably sign off. That's a good lesson, Julie. Yeah, I think that's a parent's job, is to teach you to respect yourselves and others. Absolutely.
I think you should keep telling the story, Little. I think you should just
you guys can't whistle either.
You know, just blend them together.
So yeah, I know. There's a little picture of me. What happened? I was a terror. No. Oh.
Yeah, Little. Check with Little for a fact check. He'll fact check your burrito story. He'll get back with you. Let you know what the Twitter censors say.
Roman, maybe you can come on and teach me how to whistle on our next open mic.
You know how to whistle, don't you? Just put your lips together and blow.
Little knows the story.
Yeah, Little is he's got the inside information. He said, I guess I can't tell my Lucky Burrito origin story anymore. I'm like, no, just you know, combine them. Like your grandmother fajita was like an astronaut or something, you know, like flew down with a magic space ferret named Lucky.
So, I mean, you know, it.
Peaches. Nah.
My grandma fajita was the best. She was super crafty. Super crafty. Like, I'm so much like her. I'm going to have to do like a thing on her.
Apple. Thank you. Just go back to making quiet chicken noises. Hey. Apple.
Yeah, I miss my grandma too. Gamer.
That's right. Practice your scales, man. Do, re, fa, ma, la, 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 ba, dee, da, ba, doo. Just like that. Gamer said, don't be a CIA informant, Peaches. Take it down a notch, bro. Bro.
Yeah, Gamer says, don't be a CIA burb. I think you should listen to Gamer because he's like our emotional support.
Right? Where's John Kemper? His bird needs to debrief my bird, or I don't know.
We need to send our love to John. I checked in on him a couple of days ago because I noticed he wasn't around and he wasn't feeling good. So
I hope Trish is feeling better. She was feeling shitty too. Right? Trish had a
yeah, Trish said that she was feeling better.
nasty cold.
You can keep making up stories, Little, because I think they're adorable. You can debunk my story.
Much love, Oz Whistles. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us. We love you, and we appreciate you. Please tune in on the next go-around, which I'm sure will be very soon. I'm thinking...
Els and then I Can't Whistle crowd, too. It's like one or the other, like, you know.
I'll have to do a video where I demonstrate my my amazing whistling abilities. I want SF Thomas to do the same. SF Thomas will be whistling a Charles Mingus composition, and I'll just play the scale. Okay, sounds good. His mom was a piano teacher, so I mean.
Chili said that Peaches is telling all Stephen Lucky's secrets. Y'all need to learn bird.
I know you guys don't know bird speak. Thank God. We would be found out for our weird. I mean, what are we hiding? We're actually conservative Christian Republicans.
All right, we will be back. What's today? Sunday. I had to think about like
what?
I had to think about like what day it was.
Yeah,
like,
it's Sunday.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know what's happening.
Starting the week off.
It is.
Let's go. All right, your tablet just turned off on its own. I guess that means it's done. Yeah. Okay, the show's over.
Okay. All right, everybody. Have a great night. We will see you soon.
Sweet dreams, everybody. We'll see you soon. We love you. If you'd like to help us succeed and continue to do this, please consider being a Patreon member or a give, send, go person who gives, sends, and goes or whatever. You know, there's many links that you could.
In the description, there's all kinds of links you can
share this content with your social mediums, your social larges, and your social smalls, all of them. Tell your mama and your daddy and your chicken and your brother and your cousin and your blue lizard. Okay? Thank you very much.
All right. Good night.